In this stretch of Sagebrush Sea east of Bend on the northern edge of the Great Basin, you will find plenty of peace and quiet. But not today.
C95.
It is collaring day for 45 Oregon State University cows.
D599.
Each one getting a new necklace that will track them and teach them.
They're going to get an audible warning, and they're going to learn in the next 3 days through training that audible warning means that they should not continue their direction of travel. If they continue their direction of travel, they'll get a mild electrical stimulus.
There is no electrical charge at this point in the process, but most of the cattle don't like it much.
There's a foreign object on their neck, and they don't know what to do, so they kind of run. Most of them kind of run and buck a little bit, but 5 minutes, they're right back where they were before.
It is the bovine version of those low-power shock collars that teach your dogs to stay in the yard, with some out-of-this-world differences.
The collars talk to a base station using a radio frequency. The base station then uses a cellular antenna to take the data up to the cloud, back home to your mobile device or computer.
The mobile cell towers on wheels and global positioning satellites make it possible to set up the system in remote areas, keep cattle fenced in virtually, and move those virtual fences around with a computer keystroke.
We don't have to rely on hard fences to keep them in that area. We can actually create fences anywhere we want on the landscape using the virtual fence technology.
After the cows are collared and calmed down, reunited with their calves who won't wear collars for this study, they are led into a training corral where they will learn to recognize those audible cues and learn to respect that electric jolt if they wander. Then they are ready to become firefighting land managers. When that training session is over, those 45 cattle will be brought here. This is a 300-acre plot of land. It's been chosen specifically because of the quantity and density of native and invasive grass species. It's a place that's statistically likely to burn and burn hot and fast. The cattle will be here for 4 to 6 weeks.
A recent report suggests that we're losing about 1.3 million acres of good and pretty good habitat a year to things like conversion annual grasses and wildfire.
Maybe using cattle can help by eating up the dried out grasses that fuel range fires all over the West, creating fire breaks in remote and vulnerable areas, and creating safe zones where firefighters can set up base camps.
The only tool that we have for fuels management at that scale is these guys right back here, cattle. And our challenge is to show how that can be done in an ecologically responsible way, in a strategic way.
We're still learning a lot. I'll be straight up with that.
There are plenty of questions it's hoped these cows can help answer about how virtual fencing can be used by ranchers and by agencies like the BLM on a variety of landscapes.
How big is the buffer zone for the audio? How big is the buffer zone for the electrical? We're trying to figure that out because I don't think it's the same for everywhere.
Researchers will allow the herd to eat about half of the available food on the study sites. That's the target for tamping down fire behavior and mitigating the environmental impact of these half-ton foragers.
We need to utilize grazing in a way that can be productive for the producer. That's important. But we also need to do it in a way that's going to maintain the long-term ecological function of the area. The virtual fence is a way that's it's one more tool in the toolbox for those land managers.
A cattle-driven tool with many potential uses. It could protect environmentally sensitive areas, maximize grazing patterns, lessen fence building, and help track strays.
I think it's got a lot of headroom for growth. I think 10 years into the future, and cost and ease of use on virtual fencing, I think it's pretty exciting.
The future of fences that aren't really fences may be as wide open as Eastern Oregon itself. Somewhere west of Riley, I'm Alan Schaffler, Central Oregon Daily News.